Inspirational and motivational here at Love How. Get a better mindset and set your goals here at Love How. Educational things you need to know here at Love How. Like credit, home, buying loans, and much more here at Love How. The space for...
Hey, hello everybody. Welcome to the Home Buyers Clubhouse, where we go live every Wednesday and every Friday. On Wednesdays, we drop something inspirational and motivational, and on Fridays, we drop something educational. Audience, how are y'all doing today? Let me know. Drop it in the box below. Show us some love. Let us know how you're doing today. For those of you guys who don't know me, my name is Jessie Lynn. I am a triangle realtor with A to Z Realty. Miss Erica Batts, introduce yourself.
Hey, and I am Erica Batts. I'm your home loan chick, your mortgage lender, and I am so excited that it is Friday. I was doing the Cabbage Patch to our theme song.
Hey. Yes, honey. Yes. Drop it in the box below. Today we are talking about renting versus buying. What would you rather do? Would you rather rent? Would you rather buy? What are the pros and cons of each? We're going to talk about that, but for now, drop it in the box below. Let us know what you would rather do. Would you rather rent or own? Everybody, owning is not for everyone. We talk about owning a lot here, but it's not for everyone. So let us know, what would you rather do and why? Erica.
Yes.
So let's talk about it. We got some comments in the box. Let's see. Somebody said they are doing wonderful and they would rather buy. For those of you guys who's in here, also click on the link so we can see your name at the top. Also, so we can approve your comments and see who you are. Who's that Facebook user? Anyway, I dropped it on my page today, and I had one lady. She said that she would rather own because she want to paint. She want to change some hardware whenever she want to. She want to do whatever she want to do whenever she feel like it. So yeah, Erica, and believe it or not, you have some people who would rather rent. Because I have someone that said that they rather rent because of the maintenance. They don't want to fix stuff. Yes.
And I think that's true for a lot of people. A lot of people are afraid about the maintenance or the things that they're going to have to fix, or they hear about all of these big ticket repairs. But I feel like what a lot of people miss when they're looking at that is that you're already paying for that maintenance when you're paying the rent. But you're just paying it on a monthly basis. So you don't really realize it. And then the other thing is, rent increases every year. Now, the only change that you would make for your house payment is if your taxes and insurance change, as long as you have a fixed mortgage, a fixed rate on your mortgage.
Exactly. And that was, a lot of people don't realize, some think there are advantages to renting also, and some think there are advantages to owning. And like I said, we see the pros and cons. Here we go. So someone said they love renting because they don't have to worry about the property maintenance. The other one says renting gives them flexibility to move around for work. So so that gives them flexibility. But Erica, does selling kind of hold you to being stuck in that house for the next 30 years?
It doesn't. You can always make a change when you want to. And what I tell people all the time when they're saying, well, I'm not sure where I want to live. If you feel like you want to live in that area for at least 2 years, then, buying may be a good alternative for you, because just like there was a for sale sign in the yard, when you roll past, you can put another one. And then you can also take advantage of the equity. So, I honestly feel like it depends on what you want. Now, if you're looking to build wealth, then buying is going to be the best option. If you're looking for flexibility in where you live is the most important thing to you, and you don't care if, that it's costing you, then as long as you're aware as to what the pros and cons are, it's fine if you want to be a renter forever.
Absolutely. So some pros that I see that I've from my previous poll that we had of owning a home is what Lisa says. I love the sense of stability and ownership that comes with buying a home. And that's definitely a valid point because owning a home can provide a strong sense of security and a place you can truly call your own. John mentioned buying a home can be a great long-term investment. And that's right. Real estate can appreciate over time, which can be beneficial for your financial future. So yeah, those are some great examples and some good reasons to absolutely own or rent a home. So it's not uh it just depends on your situation. So let's kind of talk about it. So pros and cons of renting. Some pros, we have lower upfront costs, more flexibility to move, less maintenance responsibility. And Erica, I understand that, but I still think you can sell that house just as fast as you, because sometimes if you have a lease, in my opinion, you can sometimes, well, you don't have to wait. But a lot of people think that they have to wait until their lease ends. Um,
Mhm.
but sometimes you have a lease that you kind of stuck in a way, you know.
Right.
But whenever you decide to sell your home, you can just put your home on the market. It depends on the market. It may not sell that fast, but in this market right now, you can sell your home in about 45 days, you know. Some people like to rent because it's less maintenance responsibility. Now some cons of renting is no equity in the property. And what's equity for those for the people who don't know what equity is, Erica?
That's going to be the difference in what you owe on your house and what your house is worth. I saw a video the other day that was talking about, how prices have increased so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just looking at a couple of different, just some houses that I see out here. Here's a house like that's in Wake Forest. This house
Mm-hmm.
was sold in 2016 for $228,000. It's now on the market for
Mm-hmm.
$499,000. So that's,
Mm-hmm.
a good $300,000 that they're going to walk away with once they sell this house.
Absolutely. So that's equity. We call it an invisible piggy bank. It's your bank that's growing over time. When you make rent payments, you're paying your landlord. You're not getting any equity out of that property. So just kind of consider that as well. So where are we? Another con is for renting is less control over the property. What does that mean? Less control over the property. Kind of mentioned that earlier.
Well, because you can only do what your landlord allows you to do. So
Mm-hmm.
if the cabinets are white and you really don't like white cabinets, you're like, I would really like to paint them black. Unless your
Mm-hmm.
landlord says it's okay, then you can't just paint those cabinets. You can do. I see a lot of renter friendly hacks where they're putting contact paper. But then you
Yes.
also run the risk of what happens if that contact paper actually damages the cabinets. So now
Mm-hmm.
you have damages for those type of things. So being able to just do what you want to do with your house.
Absolutely. And when I was in property management, one thing that I saw a lot, I had one tenant. I was like, "Oh, was that in here?" Because I, mean,
Uh huh.
I'm new to the building. Well, no, what's going on? She's changing it, but she's been there forever. But you're right, contact paper, different things. She had that place nice, like I said, and the properties that I was managing, they were like based on your income, they were very, very old. And
Hmm.
their budget was very small. And they wasn't, some of the stuff did need to be updated. So I understood where they were coming from as well. So yeah, you can get creative as a renter. I've seen some of that sticky tile or like some of that wallpaper
Hmm.
that looks like tile. So you can get creative. Another con is of renting is rent increases are possible. Oh my God, we hear that a lot. Rent increases. Their rent going up 300, 400, $500. So yes, rent increases are possible. Erica, do you have any stories as far as that?
I
Have you
do.
heard any
So I've
stories
had
recently?
one where I had, they came to me to buy because their rent was increasing $500 on a monthly basis from year to year because they came and said,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, we've got some new owners to the property, and
Mm-hmm.
we're going to increase it by $500." And there was nothing they could do because they didn't have the money to pay the rent increase. They also didn't have the money to be able to move, so they were just kind of stuck. But the average price, I think, when I was reading, it said at least 7%. That's how much rent has gone up year over year for the past few years. Is about 7.1%. So your income is not increasing that much, but your rent keeps going up.
Absolutely. And that's the thing right there. So if you own that property, if your mortgage went up, let's say taxes or something went up, and you decided to sell that property, a lot of the times, not all the time, but the majority of the time, you're going to have some money. You're going to walk away with a check to buy your next house or to rent your next home. You'll have some money. And again, that's called equity. That is your invisible piggy bank. So that's why.
Yeah, just like the house that I was talking about, that they originally bought it in 2016. And like I said, it was selling for $228. Well, now they've lived in this house this entire time. They only paid $228 for it, but they're walking away with at least $300,000.
Absolutely.
And so it's like, they walking away with basically kind of a free house.
Yeah, and you hear so many sad stories of people renting for 30 years and 40 years and 20 years. And now the landlord is selling the property, they have new owners, and now they don't have anywhere to go. And it's so sad because you've been in that property for 30 years, and all this time you could have been buying your own property, and you could own this property right now. And you don't have to worry about moving. But it's sad. It's a sad situation because it's not a lot of affordable housing out there right now. And again, your rent does increase from time to time. One of the cons of owning a home sometimes is, you do have increases. We talk about gentrification a lot. We talk about that. So, rent, your income, your taxes could increase. And sad stories that comes behind that is, grandma lost her house because she couldn't afford to pay the taxes. So that's pretty much, well, of course, your insurance and different things like that may increase. Unless you have like an arm's length, adjustable rate mortgage or something like that. But outside of that, you don't really have to worry about no crazy increases. And with the adjustable rate mortgages, Erica, there's a cap, correct?
Yes, there generally is a cap. So, and it's going to depend. You have to read your paperwork to see what that cap is. So I know like one of the local credit unions, their cap is 6% more than it was when you got the loan. So just like even if they did an ARM, let's say 2 years ago when rates were 2%, that means the maximum that payment can ever go up to is 8%. So, and ARMs are not bad things. A lot of people associate ARMs with the housing crisis of 2008. But that's why a lot of these things have been put into place because people didn't know that they had ARMs, things like that. So that definitely made a difference.
Yeah, I had a seller call me the other day and she was just talking about how they tricked her a few years ago, with her loan and all of this. She was buying her family's property. And then you start looking at these rates, it's like 12, 16%. And I'm just like, nice.
Yeah. That's why people complaining about interest rates these days, and interest rates aren't really that much higher than they were, because just like I'm sure if your parents had a house, they was probably paying 14%, 18% interest like back in the 80s, whereas now, we're complaining about this 6 and 7%, but that's only because there was a clearance sale the past few years where everything was 2 and 3%. So now people are expecting that to be the norm.
Absolutely. So I'm reading some comments. So, I told you I dropped the poll earlier today. Someone said rent for myself, but own property to rent out to others. I like living in luxury properties with an amazing view, Starbucks and other restaurants attached, saunas, security. Hey, you can get that if you own. And the ability to move whenever I find more desirable properties. And someone said, absolutely this. I have 3 littles now and they prefer yards and other kids. Someone also said, own, even if it's temporary to meet, occupancy requirements, then rent to others, increasing my portfolio to passive income properties. I agree with all of those.
Now, one of the things that they were talking about that is going to add to this whole affordable housing thing, for those of us who did buy within the past few years, when we get ready to move to our next property, we're going to take out a home equity loan on the property that we have so we can take advantage of that increased equity. But then we're going to rent out what we have just because we got 2 and 3% interest rate. It's like, am I going to give that up? No, I'm going to keep that. And so I'm going to become a landlord and then let somebody else rent and pay for this property that I got at 2 and 3%. So there's also a wealth building.
Absolutely. And we talk about that a lot. We find a lot of people who's not approved for a lot, and then they want these nice old houses for their first home. But you can you can turn that property and be a landlord. You can later on, you can get you another property and be the landlord. Like, but I see it from both sides. I really do. But the issue is a lot of people don't truly 1000% understand the benefits of owning. For instance, like with Landis, Landis, and you have Home Partners that does the lease with the option to purchase program. That's for people that, who's new and who's not sure. Like you said, if you're not going to be there for more than 2 years, cool. You want to sit back and think about that thing or whatever. But if you're planning on being there for more than 2 years or whatever, you definitely want to consider owning that property. And Landis, that's one thing. And Home Partners, that's what they do, is just basically you can rent that property from them. If you fall in love with that property, if you fall in love with the area, period, you could buy that property from them. Some pros of owning a property, we talked about this already, is it builds equity in the property. You have more control over the property and you have your tax breaks. Erica, what does it mean when they say tax breaks?
Well, in previous years, now I will tell you the past 2 or 3 years, a lot of people have not been able to take advantage of it, but that is a temporary tax situation. So that should actually be up within the next few years. But you're able to deduct the interest that you've paid. You're able to deduct that on your taxes. You can still do that. But for most people, if you are not if your interest and all of those additional expenses are not over your $12,500, then it doesn't really help you to be able to count those things right now. But as I said, that was a temporary tax situation. And so that should be coming to end within the next couple of years.
And let's say also we're not financial advisors or tax advisors either, you guys. And another advantage I know that it's the MCC credits. That would help you. I think my sister, she does that. She get a tax break every year. And I said, why didn't I? I should have done that, because I know, end up paying taxes back. And she makes really good money. Makes really good money, and it always saves her from paying taxes at the end of the year just from having that.
Yes.
So some cons of owning a home: you have higher upfront costs. This is one thing that kind of holds a lot of people back from buying a house, is the higher upfront costs, Erica. So let's kind of talk about that. What are some upfront costs that they need to kind of think about and take into consideration, and how can they plan for it?
Well, I mean, for some things, so just like if you, I will say it's different whether it's going to be a new construction or whether it's an existing property. For new construction, of course, you still have both of the options. You have your down payment, your closing costs, all of those type of things. When you look at a new construction, the other thing that you want to think about is most of those houses don't come with a refrigerator. So that's an expense that you have to do. Those houses also don't come with blinds. That's an expense that you have to do. There's all these little things that, you like, oh, well, I forgot about that. And then you're looking at utility deposits, all of those type of things that also need to be paid for.
Absolutely. Did you mention closing costs and all the inspections?
I did. Closing costs and the down payment.
Okay, awesome. All right. See, I was on another screen, so I can't hear when I'm on another screen. Actually, I can't. I'm not focusing.
You gotta turn the radio down so you can see.
So I can see. Yeah. So we have higher upfront costs. Some say less flexibility to move, but I don't see that. It depends on the area.
Well, you can't just pick up and go and just move into something else. So yeah, I see that. I can see it is a little bit less flexible than renting. But
I still think renting, you're kind of stuck with the lease, but you're not stuck, because I don't want to say that, because I don't want people to think they're stuck in their lease if their lease ends right now. I don't want to say that. So yeah, okay.
Well, a lot of times you can't just pick up and move. So just like if I decide that I want to move today, then, well, actually, most
Uh-huh.
apartment complexes, you got to give them 30 to 60 days notice anyway. And in that time,
Uh-huh.
you could be done sold a house, or rented sold a house if that's what you needed to do. But so it's differences.
Bluetooth connected.
Exactly. So can you hear me? Because I keep hearing something that says Bluetooth connected. We good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. All right, so let's keep going. Where am I? Oh, so higher upfront costs, less flexibility to move, more maintenance responsibility. So we can talk about this. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Erica.
Yes.
What is this true or not? I kind of think not. I think over time, or just depending on the type of house that you buy, yeah, you got to have stuff fixed. You do got to take care of stuff if stuff breaks. But let's just think about this. I've been in this house for probably maybe 7 years, 6 years, maybe somewhere in that area. I've been here for about that long. This house is almost 20 years old. I don't have much to fix around here. Like, because I do maintenance. I do my normal maintenance, preventive maintenance, and I have a home warranty. So if I have issues with something, I call them to come out. But go on. Let me hear your side.
And I will say I do kind of see it from both perspectives. So I think about I can think about myself, and I know that when I got my first house, I think my payment was $600 a month. Now in that same area, the rent is $1,400 a month. So you're thinking about, how much difference that is. That's an additional $800 a month. So if I have to fix something, the air conditioner went out. Oh, it cost me $2,500, $3,000 for the air conditioning. Okay. I do have the home warranty plan, but so when I look at overall the pros and cons, even though, yes, there is maintenance, there is going to be things like, the window broke, or, blah, 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 all of these things. Whereas if I lived in an apartment, I could just call the maintenance man or the maintenance person and be like, hey, I need somebody to come over here and fix the hot water heater.
Okay.
So I can see that, but it all depends on, it's almost kind of like people who eat out versus cooking at home. You got to pay for that convenience, but is $800 a month really worth that convenience? And then so once I've owned that for 20 years, you're looking at quite a bit of income that I've given to someone else.
Absolutely.
But as long as you're okay with it,
I like that.
As long as you're okay with it, then, renting is not a bad option. But like I said, I would prefer that people be more informed as far as what exactly that means. They want to rent because it's easy, but then the most you can get back when you're renting is your security deposit.
That's it. That's all you're walking away with. And that the last con that I had was potential for unexpected repairs, which is kind of the same thing. But I think the biggest thing is when you rent, you're essentially paying someone else's mortgage. You're not building any equity in the property, and you're not getting any tax breaks. But on the other hand, when you buy a home, you're building equity, and you may be able to deduct some of your mortgage interest on your taxes. So
and it's also things where you can turn that into a rental property when you decide to move to somewhere else. You can there's a lot of different things that you can do with it. But again, renting buying is not going to be for everybody. So I feel like everybody has to weigh your pros and cons as to what works for you, but just make sure that you get all the facts.
Absolutely. So then we also have that another thing to consider is your rent prices. They tend to go up over time, where your mortgage payments, they stay the same or even go down after the initial down payment is made. So in the long run, buying a home can be a much more affordable option. Now let's talk about some non-financial factors to consider as well as we close out. Let's go back. So when you rent, you have less control over your living situation. You may have to deal with some noisy neighbors or a landlord who doesn't keep up with repairs. Or on the other hand, when you own a home, you can make changes to the property yourself as you see fit. You can also have pets or have more people living with you if you wanted to. Okay. Another thing to consider, that renting can be a more flexible option if you need to move for work or other reasons, you can usually give your landlord notice and move out. On the other hand, you own a home, you may have to sell it before you can move out. Now, so those are just some of the pros and cons of renting versus buying, but ultimately the best decision is that's for you. It would depend on your individual situation. If you're not sure which option that's right for you, it's a good idea to talk to a financial advisor, a real estate agent, to kind of guide you and kind of walk you through the process. Erica, you got anything you want to add before we go, honey?
No, I think these are definitely some great points for everybody to consider, especially when you're thinking about whether you want to rent or whether you want to buy. Then you also want to think about like your generational wealth when you buy, because that's
Mm-hmm.
something that you can leave to members of your family, whether it's your offspring, whether it's your spouse, whether it's a different family member. That's
Mm-hmm.
somewhere that they'll always have to be able to come back to.
Yeah, and we got a few more minutes. So we hear stories all the time about that. When I was in property management, the mother, and she was sick. She had cancer, right?
Hmm.
She was sick. She had cancer. Um, she passed away. I didn't know she passed away, and her children were still living in the property or
Hmm.
whatever. So that's one thing. Like, and in that situation, the property, the kids are not on the lease for one. It's just her on the lease. They're older adult children. Um, they're living there. They're not on the lease. They didn't tell me that she passed away. And I just noticed a lot of different people in and out of the property or whatever. And yeah, couldn't find out she passed away. And unfortunately, they had to move or whatever because of this.
Within
They
30
lived there.
days.
They lived there for like 7 months until I said, "Hold on, something's not right." Like she never came back to the office. She went in and she just never came back to the office after that, and I started putting two and two together. I said something's not right, and then I done my research. But yeah, and it's sad because she lived. When I say she lived there for years, she lived
Mhm.
there for a very, 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 very long time, and it was really sad. But it was just one of those situations. So yeah, you definitely want to be able to leave something to your children, to your family, because you don't want to put them in a situation where they're homeless and they don't have anywhere to go.
Mhm.
So yeah, yeah, and that's how I look at it. But unfortunately, a lot of us in our neighborhoods, we don't know anything about owning. We just know we go get that apartment that's for rent downtown, or what's for rent, or do anybody know the landlords? We talk about it more today than we have in the past. But it's still unfortunate that there are a lot of people who don't understand the benefits of home ownership, or they
Mhm.
don't know where to start whenever it comes to home ownership. So if y'all ever have any questions, y'all can reach out to me anytime. I'd rather y'all call me than text me. A lot of people inbox me. I can't really explain a lot of the process
Right.
on via text. It's good to have that conversation over the phone. I try, but still, I don't want it to be one of them situations where you reach out, we talk, I explain the process, and then I don't hear from you again. Because
Right.
at the end of the day, it's going to be up to you. If you're that person that want to own a home, you need to own a home or whatever. If that's your goal, that's something that you're going to have to do for yourself, and you're going to have to focus on it. And myself, I'll take that time with you. But if you just reach out and then you disappear, I'm not gonna chase you down, because you're gonna have to want that just as much as I want it for you, if that makes sense.
Right. I will say another thing is when you're a homeowner and you have that equity in your house, look at the amount of things that you can do with that equity. I've
Mhm.
had people do home equities in order to start a business.
Yes.
Whereas, you don't have to go to the bank and ask them if you can borrow this $50,000. You already have it in your house. You can pull that money out of your house. You still have to make payments on that, but most of the time, you now have 15 years or 10 years or whatever the time frame is. So you have plenty of time to be able to, build your business, do all of those things. Because look at how long would it take you to save $50,000?
Absolutely.
for most of us, that's going to take a long time to save that amount of money.
Absolutely. All right, you guys. Ooh, woo, child. I like when we get like this. But y'all, we gotta go. We gotta go. We gotta go. If y'all have any questions, y'all know how to find us. For those of you guys who don't know me, my name is Jessie Lynn. I'm a Triangle Realtor with A to Z Realty. You can reach me at 919-818-9854. Again, that number is 919-818-9854. Miss Erica Batts.
Hey, I am Erica Batts. I'm your mortgage loan officer. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Your Home Loan Chick. You can reach me at 919-608-7916, or you can always reach me at ericabats.com.
You guys can reach us in the clubhouse at www.thehomebuyersclubhouse.com. You can find us on Facebook in our group or on our page at Homebuyers Clubhouse, or you can find us on YouTube at The Homebuyers Clubhouse. We hope you guys have an awesome day. Oh, wait, before we go, look, we got a boot camp coming up. We have a boot camp coming up for 2023. The price is only 2023. It's a 6-week boot camp. We're going to teach you guys how to look at your credit, how to fix your credit, how to dispute your credit. We're going to teach you guys about home ownership, how to get a home, when to get a home, all that fun stuff. We're going to talk about it. We're going to teach you that. And again, it's 6 weeks. It's one-on-one coaching. It's not going to be that 3-hour thing. I mean, a training that you ain't gonna see us anymore. 6 weeks of coaching. You can get all your questions in, and we will also have access to. You'll have access to replays. You're gonna have access to an online course. You're gonna have all your resources in one spot. So $20.23. You can't beat it. You also get access to our book. You're gonna get a digital book from us as well. But yeah, I hope to see you guys at the boot camp. Home and Credit Boot Camp. We're doing a 6-week challenge, and I hope to see you guys there. Hope you guys have a great weekend. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye. Bye.